What if everything you thought was just a coincidence suddenly turned into a pattern no one could ignore? What if a single post, a subtle gesture, or even a few seconds of silence carried a message so loud that millions of fans across the world couldn't sleep trying to decode it? And what if this time, it wasn't just speculation? ARMY, are you ready for what might be the most unexpected signal yet? Before we dive deeper, make sure you stay until the end because what unfolds here might completely change how you see everything. And if you feel your heart racing even a little while reading this, don't forget to like, comment your theories, and subscribe for more shocking updates like this. Because this story is far from over. It all began with something so small that most people would have scrolled past it without a second thought. But not ARMY. Never ARMY. Because when it comes to Jungkook, nothing is ever just small. Every move, every word, every silence, it all means something. And this time the signal he sent felt different. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it carried a weight that immediately sparked panic, curiosity, and an emotional storm across social media. The moment the post appeared, fans froze. Some stared at their screens, replaying it over and over again. Others rushed to share it, asking the same question. Did you see that too? Or am I overthinking? But deep down, everyone knew. This wasn't something you could just brush off. What exactly did Jungkook do? That's where things start to get complicated. Because the signal wasn't a direct message. It wasn't a clear statement. It was something much more dangerous. Something open to interpretation. And that's exactly why it hit so hard. A simple caption. A choice of words that felt oddly specific. A timing that didn't quite align with anything random. And most importantly, an emotion that felt real. Too real. Fans began dissecting every detail. The tone, the structure, even the punctuation. Some claimed it was a message of reassurance. Others believed it hinted at something deeper, something unresolved. And then came the theories, the kind that spread like wildfire within minutes. But just when things couldn't get any more intense, Taehyung entered the picture. At first, it was subtle. So subtle that only the most observant fans noticed it. A shift in expression. A moment of hesitation. A reaction that didn't quite match the situation. It wasn't dramatic, but it didn't need to be. Because sometimes, the smallest crack reveals the biggest truth. People began asking questions. Why did Taehyung look like that? Why did his usual calm and playful demeanor seem slightly off? And most importantly, what was he trying to hide? Clips started circulating. Screenshots were analyzed frame by frame. Fans compared his recent appearances, trying to find patterns, differences, anything that could explain what they were seeing. And the more they looked, the more uneasy they felt. Because something was definitely different. It wasn't just about Jungkook anymore. It became about the connection between them. The unspoken bond that fans have always admired, always protected, always believed in. And now, that bond seemed to be sending mixed signals. Was this a coincidence? Or was it something much more intentional? As hours turned into days, the situation only grew more intense. Discussions turned into debates. Debates turned into emotional breakdowns. Some fans tried to calm the situation, insisting that everything was being blown out of proportion. Others couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was unfolding right in front of them. And then came the moment that changed everything. A live appearance. A brief interaction. A look that lasted less than a second, but felt like an eternity. It was the kind of moment you could easily miss if you blinked. But once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. Taehyung's expression shifted again. This time it was clearer, more visible, and undeniably emotional. Fans gasped. Some even admitted they felt their hearts drop. What was that? Did he just react to something? Is this connected to Jungkook's post? The questions kept coming, but the answers remained just out of reach. And that's what made it so powerful. Because uncertainty has a way of pulling people in deeper than any clear explanation ever could. The more unclear things became, the more fans wanted to understand. The more they analyzed, the more layers they uncovered. And yet, none of it led to a definitive conclusion. Some believed Jungkook was expressing something personal, something that couldn't be said directly. Others felt it was a message meant only for a specific person. and that Taehyung's reaction was proof of that. But then a new theory emerged, one that caught everyone off guard. What if this wasn't about conflict at all? What if the signal wasn't a sign of distance, but a sign of something much deeper, something emotional, something vulnerable? Suddenly, the narrative began to shift. Fans started revisiting everything with a different perspective. The post, the reaction, the timing. It all began to look less like a mystery, and more like a story unfolding in fragments. A story about connection, about unspoken feelings, about moments that don't need words to be understood. And yet, the tension didn't disappear. Because even if the meaning was emotional, it was still unclear, still open-ended, still leaving millions of fans hanging between hope and worry. What makes this situation even more intense is how real it feels. This isn't just about idols anymore. It's about human emotions, about the kind of moments everyone has experienced at some point in their lives. Moments where something is felt deeply but can't be fully explained. That's why ARMY reacted the way they did. Because they didn't just see a post or a reaction. They felt it. They saw pieces of themselves in it. The confusion, the curiosity, the emotional weight of not knowing what someone truly means, but feeling like it matters more than anything. And maybe that's the biggest twist of all. Because while everyone is searching for answers, maybe the real story isn't about what exactly happened, but about how it made people feel. Still, one question remains. Was this intentional? Did Jungkook know exactly what he was doing when he sent that signal? Did Taehyung realize how much his reaction would be analyzed? Or was all of this an unexpected chain of events that spiraled beyond anyone's control? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. This isn't over. Because as long as there are unanswered questions, as long as there are emotions left unexplored, this story will continue to evolve. New clues may appear. New moments may shift the narrative once again. And when they do, ARMY will be there, watching, analyzing, feeling every second of it. So now we turn it to you. What do you think really happened? Was this just a coincidence, or something much deeper? Did Jungkook truly send a hidden message? And what exactly was Taehyung trying to hide? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your theory might be the one that finally connects all the dots. And if you felt even a hint of the tension, the emotion, the mystery in this story, don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next chapter might be closer than we think. Meta description. What did Jungkook really mean with that mysterious signal? And why couldn't Taehyung hide his reaction? ARMY is in full panic mode as shocking clues, emotional moments, and unexpected twists leave fans questioning everything. Could this be coincidence? Or is there a deeper story unfolding right before our eyes? What if the moment everyone is obsessing over right now is only the beginning of something far more revealing? What if the signal wasn't meant to be understood immediately, but instead slowly, piece by piece, like a puzzle designed to keep everyone watching, waiting, and questioning everything they thought they knew? Because just when ARMY thought things might calm down, something even more unsettling began to surface. It didn't explode all at once. There was no sudden announcement, no dramatic reveal. Instead, it crept in quietly, almost unnoticed, until fans began connecting the dots again. And when they did, the tension returned stronger than before. Another post, another moment, another detail that didn't quite fit the idea of coincidence. This time, it wasn't just about what Jungkook shared, it was about when he shared it. The timing raised eyebrows immediately. Fans quickly realized that it aligned too perfectly with something Taehyung had done just hours earlier. And suddenly, the narrative shifted again. Is this a response? Are they communicating indirectly? Or are we just seeing what we want to see? The questions became louder, more intense, and more divided. Some fans insisted that everything was being overanalyzed. They argued that idols are human too, that not every action carries hidden meaning, and that sometimes, a post is just a post.